All right, so tomorrow we've got the NCAA Baseball Tournament, and I gotta say this is my second favorite postseason in sports, right behind the NCAA Basketball Tournament. Not a lot of exposure for the NCAA Baseball Tournament. You don't hear about it a lot. You hear about football and basketball the most in college sports, but baseball is actually really exciting as well. And especially during the postseason time. We've got 64 teams in this tournament, and each round is double elimination. There are 4 rounds. First round is the regional round, and it's a group of 4 teams. One of those 4 will move on to the super regionals, or they will play another regional champion. The winner, that'll be a best-of-3 series. The winner of that round will move on to the College World Series, where there are 8 teams, and they'll be split up into 2 groups of 4, and one of those 4 in each group will move on in that double elimination bracket to the College World Series championship game, which is a best-of-3, and we will find our NCAA baseball champion that way. The way the bracket is set up, there are 16 1 seeds, 16 2 seeds, 16 3 seeds, and 16 4 seeds. The 1 seeds are all their hosts of their own 4-team regionals, and they rank the top 8 1 seeds, as you can see right here. Oregon State is number 1, Florida number 2, Virginia number 3, Indiana, the first Big Ten team to be nationally ranked in the top 8. At number 4, Florida State with Jameis Winston. Number 5, Louisiana Lafayette at number 6, Texas Christian at number 7, and Louisiana State at number 8. The way it works out is if all the 1 seeds were to make it to the super regionals, which I don't think has ever happened. If that were to happen, then the ranked 1 seed would host the unranked 1 seed in the super regional round for the best-of-3. So let's get to this bracket here. I'm going to be making my picks as I go here. We've got Oregon State, the overall number 1 seed. You got North Dakota State right there at 25-24, not the greatest record in the world. You got Cal Irvine and UNLV. Oregon State is the overall number 1 seed for a reason. They've got a lot of great Major League Baseball prospects, and that's why I'm going with Oregon State right here. Those other teams, they just don't quite match up. I'm in my car here because my wife has a lot of people over at the house, and it's noisy, and I don't need that there. I need to do this in my car, I guess. So now here's an unranked 1 seed, like I was explaining earlier. We got Oklahoma State. Then there's Binghamton, 25-25, barely got in. Won their America East championship to get into the tournament. Cal State Fullerton, the 3 seed, usually one of the top college baseball programs. And then there's Nebraska. Nebraska, former Big 12 rival of Oklahoma State. But, you know, I think Nebraska is better than what people think, but Oklahoma State, I definitely think is going to give them problems. And that's why I'm going to go with Oklahoma State here. Big 12 is just a better baseball conference than the Big Ten. Big Ten's almost like a mid-major. Now here we go, and here's one of the ranked, or no, they're not in a ranked 1 seed, I'm sorry. We've got Rice here, we've got George Mason, Texas A&M, and Texas. I like Texas in this, actually. Rice is always one of the top college baseball teams, but from what I've seen out of Texas, I'm going to have to go with them this year in this battle. Here we've got LSU, Southeastern Louisiana, Bryant, and Houston. Houston playing some great baseball at the end of the season, but so is LSU. LSU won the SEC tournament championship, and they look like they're on fire right now. And just hard to beat an SEC team in the tournament, especially this early. So LSU is going right there. Then we've got Florida State, Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State, and Alabama. Easy here, Florida State. None of those teams, I think, even Alabama's not having the, they're not one of the better SEC teams. And baseball-wise, they don't have as great of a history as some of the others. So I'm going with Florida State here. They've got a great team. They've got good pitching. Louisville, Kent State, Kansas, and Kentucky. I'm really hoping to see a Louisville and Kentucky game. Good rivalry. Perhaps you've heard of it. Kentucky, they play some good baseball. They've really been picking it up here lately. They weren't normally a good baseball team. Louisville there in the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. I'm going to go with Kentucky. I'm going to pick the upset here. I think Kentucky's ready for the challenge. They play tougher teams during the season since the SEC got 10 out of 14 of their teams into the tournament. I'm going to go with Kentucky right there. We've got Vanderbilt, Xavier, Clemson, and Oregon. Oregon is the biggest threat other than the 1 seed to win this, but I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. Once again, they've got a great baseball program. They always end up having a lot of great pitchers, and I'm just going to go with the SEC here. Hard not to. And then we've got Indiana, Youngstown State. They probably have the worst record to ever make the NCAA Baseball Tournament at 16-36. Then there's Stanford and good old Indiana State there at the 2 seed. I think it's going to come down to Indiana and Stanford, actually. And I'm going to go with Indiana because they're the number 4 overall 1 seed. And they have one of the best batting teams in college baseball. And they've had that for 2 years now. And hopefully they can get a good program built up there, because baseball in the Midwest, for at least college, isn't very good. I'm going to go over here now. We've got Florida, College of Charleston, North Carolina, and Long Beach State. Easy, it's Florida. Definitely one of the better college baseball teams. Dominated the SEC this year, won the regular season title. Then we've got Miami, Bethune-Cookman, Columbia, and Texas Tech. This is an easy one for Miami. Texas Tech's just not as consistent. Miami is. Here we go. This will be my good pal on Twitter, X-Anvil. We've got Cal Poly. He's a big fan of their college baseball team. We've got Sacramento State, Pepperdine, and Arizona State. Arizona State, I think, could really be a tough out for Cal Poly. But I'm going to go with the Cinderella story this year, Cal Poly. Got a good feeling about them. They've played some great games this year. They've pulled out some good wins. TCU, Siena, Sam Houston State, or Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist gave TCU everything they could handle in the regular season, and you know what? I'm going with Dallas Baptist. Even though TCU won the Big 12 tournament title, Dallas Baptist won the Missouri Valley tournament title. Dallas Baptist only has one Division I sports team, and it is in baseball. They made some noise a few years ago, and I think they could do it again. Here we've got Louisiana Lafayette, Jackson State, San Diego State, and Mississippi State. And Louisiana Lafayette's in the Sun Belt Conference. They're not as stacked as the SEC, and they just don't have as good of a challenge as an SEC team, and that's why I'm going to go with Mississippi State in this. Although San Diego State has really picked it up here lately, they could challenge them. But Mississippi State is my pick. Down here we've got Ole Miss, Jacksonville State, Georgia Tech, and Washington. This is an easy one for me. I'm going with Ole Miss. Once again, SEC domination in baseball. Here we've got South Carolina, Campbell, Old Dominion, and Maryland. Once again, SEC, South Carolina. I didn't watch a whole lot of college baseball games this year, but usually it's easy to figure out which teams are the good ones and who can go far in the tournament. South Carolina has done amazing in the NCAA Baseball Tournament over the last 5 years. Here we've got Virginia, Bucknell, Liberty, and Arkansas. Going with Virginia here. They look good this year, and I think they can overcome an SEC team like Arkansas. So we're moving on to the Super Regionals. Remember, this would be Oregon State hosting Oklahoma State because Oregon State is a nationally ranked 1 seed. Oklahoma State is not. So this would be a best-of-3 series between Oregon State and Oklahoma State, and Oregon State is my pick. to be super regional champion. Moving down here, Texas and LSU. Gotta go with LSU. They've just been looking really good, and they're an SEC team. Texas, I think, they're not going to be able to overcome that. Florida State and Kentucky, definitely Florida State. Better pitching, better batting, better team. Vanderbilt and Indiana. Vanderbilt an SEC team, great pitchers. Indiana with their big bats. I'm actually going to go with Indiana in this one. I've been following them over the last 2 years in their rise in college baseball. I've actually followed them 2 years ago when they made it to the Big Ten Tournament Championship game, lost to Purdue. You could tell there was something special coming at Bloomington over the next few years. So Florida and Miami, nice little rivalry here. Miami definitely has the goods to take out Florida, but I'm going with Florida. SEC over ACC. Pretty common in pretty much every sport except basketball. Now we've got Cal Poly and Dallas Baptist. Gonna go with Dallas Baptist here. I think Cal Poly is just a tad overrated. Not playing as tough of a schedule as some of these other teams. Here we've got Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Mississippi State's my pick. I feel they've had better success in the NCAA Baseball Tournament, and I'm going to go with them because of it. It's hard to fit all the words in there. South Carolina and Virginia. Very tough decision here. Virginia, I hate having to pick against South Carolina, and I'm still trying to talk myself out of it, but I'm going to go with Virginia. I've got a good feeling about this. I think for once South Carolina is not going to make it to the College World Series. So we got 8 left here. One of these 4, Oregon State, LSU, Florida State, Indiana, would make it to the National Championship game, or National Championship Series, so they don't really give you a blank there, so I'm going to draw one there, and I'm going to draw one over here. Oregon State, LSU, Florida State, Indiana. It's tough, but you know what? Oregon State has looked really good this year, and I think this is a really tough group right here. I think this would be one of the toughest I've ever seen if it's Oregon State, LSU, Florida State, and Indiana. But I'm going with Oregon State. They just look like a really good team. They look like the team to beat. And then over here we've got Florida, Dallas Baptist, Mississippi State, Virginia. ACC just is always one of the top conferences in college baseball. They're like number 2, but right behind the SEC. But they haven't produced a national champion since 1955. And you got to have an SEC in the national championship. So I'm going with Florida out of here. Florida definitely a team that could win it all. But based on what I've seen this year, Oregon State is my pick to be a national champion. They've won it twice before. They won it back-to-back years. And I think they're going to get their 3rd title. Oregon State is my pick as the 2014 NCAA Baseball Tournament champions. So what did you think about my bracket? If you have any comments or critiques, put them in the comments section below. I like discussing college baseball. It's always nice to know that there are others out there that follow the sport. And I challenge you to fill out an NCAA baseball tournament bracket. It's definitely a little bit different than the NCAA basketball tournament bracket, but it's a lot of fun, and it keeps you focused on the tournament. It allows you to follow it even closer because of the games. Great tournaments, always a lot of fun, very interesting, different, but a good different. And we can have like an unofficial NCAA baseball tournament bracket challenge and compare your picks to mine and see how you do and all that stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, heading over to Bloomington tomorrow. By the time this video is uploaded, it'll actually be today, the day of the tournament. I'm going to go check out the IU Regional in baseball. So it'll be fun. First ever NCAA Baseball Tournament, so see how that goes. And like I said, fill out a bracket, leave a comment. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.